Um, Today's session is very much aimed at delivering some key messages for you as officers who deal with the LGPS on a very operational level. So we are going to go through some key items that hopefully should be really meaningful to you, and also a couple of bits that will require some action from you in the short to medium term future. So we're going to spend about 2 hours this morning talking to you. So firstly, I'm going to give a employee relations team update. So just some key bits about what the team have been working on, and just some updates about where we stand at a few important current items. Then I'm going to hand over to Cheryl, who's one of our employer pension fund reps. Cheryl's going to talk to you about some of the developments that we have been making to the monthly postings process. Then we are joined by Emma James and Sarah Harvey from the pensions regulator, who are going to talk to you about preparing your data for the dashboard programme. And then we'll conclude the session this morning by a comms update from Stuart, who is our head of communications. Okay, so first up is a employer relations team update. So I'm going to talk to you just for about 20 minutes, just like I say, to provide you with an update on the team activities and where we stand with a few current key items. So I'm going to start with a little bit of information on the pension statements 2023, so the success of that process. I'll move on to talking about the pension savings statements piece of work that has been ongoing throughout the summer. Then we'll touch on the employee discretions and the current position. I'll spend a little bit of time talking to you about outstanding leavers and what we intend to do to address some of the backlogs that we've got there. A really quick recap on your roles and responsibilities as an LGPS employer, and then a little bit on the employee support and training that we offer. Talk to you a little bit about member engagement, and then I will conclude with our current status on the McLeod project. Okay, so first and foremost, I wanted to talk to you about the annual pension statements 2023 project. So really this is just a thank you for all of your hard work, clearing all of your blocks and processes. This has obviously allowed us to produce 99% of the annual pension statements for your active members, which is a really, really good achievement. And that's obviously a testament to the data that you supply to us throughout the year being good quality, but then also after that year-end process, working with us to clear those blocks and quarantines that has allowed us to have a really successful annual pension statement result this year. So the annual pension statements are made available to members via My Pension. So they're no longer posted out to members. They're all published on the My Pension accounts. So this is just to remind you as employers to continue to promote My Pension as much as you can through your internal communications channels, just to ensure that members are looking at those statements that you and we work so hard to produce. So we do have some resources on our website to help promote My Pension, and I've linked those on the slide for you there, which of course you will get access to these slides as a follow-up from today's session. If for any reason members don't want to go online with their pension and they prefer to receive a paper copy, that's absolutely fine, but what they'll need to do is they'll need to contact us to opt out of electronic communications, in which case, of course, we can post out that statement to them. So next up is a little bit of information on the pension savings statement. So this is a piece of work that runs alongside the annual pensions statement project. This is essentially looking at any tax implications that members have with regards to their pension. So We have been busy producing pension savings statements for your active members throughout the summer. We are fast approaching that statutory deadline to get all of those finished. The pension savings statements aren't applicable to every single active member. They tend to be applicable to more senior officers with higher salaries, or those members with huge amounts of service who have received large pay rises. So you may find that certainly at the moment, or even in the past couple of months, you may have had increased contact from these members, maybe asking questions about the saving statements that we've been sending to them. We can't give advice to members regarding their tax implications, but we do have some materials on our website that they may find useful. So you may just want to signpost them to those resources, which again I have linked on the slide, which of course you'll have access to. Now we have just a very small handful of queries outstanding, employer queries, which we need a response to in order to complete this exercise fully. So if you have any emails that we've sent to you, which are titled "Pay Needed for HMRC Checks," and you haven't yet responded to those, please treat those as absolutely urgent, because we need to get that pay information in so that we can complete this exercise. Like I say, it is only a very, very small handful of queries outstanding, and you will have definitely heard from us if you do have any queries outstanding. So it's just a bit of a nudge that those are really, really urgent now, because we are just a few days away from that deadline, and obviously without that information we can't produce the saving statements for the members, which of course is a statutory requirement. So that is the current position with the pension saving statements. Next, I wanted to talk to you about employer discretions. So this is something that we have been working on for about a year now. I think we've been aiming to obtain 100% of the employer discretionary policies. So this is something that is a mandatory requirement for you as an LGPS employer. You must have your employer discretions policy in place, and it must contain a policy on all of the mandatory discretionary areas. So we have made a huge amount of progress on this project. We now hold 86% of employer discretions policies on our records. It may be that you have one and you haven't sent it to us yet, so please do send that over to us if you haven't done that. It may be that you've not gotten around to putting that together. If you haven't, again, that's something that is really urgent, because it is a mandatory requirement that you have a policy in place, have it published, and also that we have a copy of that. We are in a really, really good position. Like I say, currently we've got 86% of our employers across the 4 funds with a policy on file. We have around 115 employers that we don't have that policy on file for. So if you can see the numbers there on the slide, that the red number there is the number of employers per fund who we have no policy for. Now, we ran a paper exercise earlier in the year to contact you, to chase you if you didn't have a policy on file. So we actually sent out letters, which is something that we don't make a habit of. Obviously, usually we would email you, call you, etc. But on this occasion, we decided to do a paper exercise to chase. We had a really good response from that, but of course, we're not at that 100% just yet. So if you haven't had a chance to respond to that letter, please, like I say, give that your urgent attention. If you do need any support or guidance putting these policies together, please contact your PFR and they can walk you through that process. We've actually got a guide on our website, which actually acts as a template that you can use. So pretty much most of the work is done for you there. You can just change it to fit your needs and your business requirements. So this is just a little reminder to to give that some attention if you haven't gotten around to doing that just yet. Okay. So the next item on my agenda was outstanding leavers. So this is something that we are constantly communicating about, constantly reminding employers about. It's so important that all of our member records are in the correct status for a number of reasons. Obviously, it's really good practice in terms of data quality, but also from a member's point of view, when they leave the scheme, we need to give them a statement of what their entitlement is. So a number of reasons why it's so important that you are on top of your outstanding leavers and sending us leaver forms in a timely manner. So over the past year, we have worked on bringing those numbers down. We're going to change our approach slightly regarding outstanding leavers, and we're going to really focus on what we consider to be an old leaver. So we've had a look at the current position of outstanding leavers. There's around 4,000 outstanding leavers across the four funds, but around half of these are what we would class as old leavers. So what we're meaning by an old leaver is a person who has left in a previous tax year. So anyone who's left before April 2013, we would consider that to be an old leaver, and that is currently making up half of the outstanding leavers. So over the next few months, we're going to change our approach slightly when we are chasing outstanding leavers, and we're going to be focusing on those employers who really stand out to us, that have a large chunk of leavers that we would consider to be old. So if you do start receiving emails from us around this narrative, please do give that your urgent attention, because we really want to get those older leavers cleared, so that we can contact the members, give them their statement of entitlement, and then they can make decisions about their benefits. If you would like an up-to-date list of what your outstanding leaver situation is, we can do that for you, absolutely no problem. So if you just email our team mailbox, we can arrange that for you. Obviously, each month when you send us your monthly postings, we produce an exception report for you, which is really useful. So the exception report lists all of the leavers that we have identified in that month. But of course, what it's not doing is it's not picking up any older leavers. So if you can get into a position where you've completely cleared your backlog, and then each month you just review your exception report and complete the leaver notifications on there, you'll be in a really good position with your employer data, and have no outstanding leavers essentially. So you can see on the slide there how the split looks across each of the four funds. So it is pretty much half and half. So any outstanding leaves that we've got, half of them are what we would class as old. So do look out for those emails from us. And if you are in that bracket where you have got a big chunk of outstanding leavers, please do give that your urgent attention. Okay. So next, I just wanted to do a little bit of a recap on your roles and responsibilities as an LGPS employer. So we do rely on you a huge amount to administer the LGPS for your scheme members, of course. So on the diagram there, we've just picked out some of the key requirements that we need you to drive, so that we can successfully administer the LGPS for your scheme members. So of course you need to let us know about new joiners in the scheme, so we can set them a record up. You need to deduct member contributions and notify us of these, and also the employer contributions as well. You need to let us know about leavers and opt-outs. You need to let us know about all of the essential data requirements. Many of those are contained, of course, in the monthly data that you send to us each month. That's why it's obviously so important that it's accurate and on time. You need to have an employee discretions policy in place, published and on our records. So that's something that I've already been through. And then also you need to be make appropriate decisions when required in the event of an appeal. So all of these items are your responsibility as an LGPS employer. For some of you, we appreciate that part of those responsibilities you do outsource to a third party payroll provider, pensions, pensions administrator. So the likes of Dataplan, EPM, Capita, all of these companies that take on this responsibility for you. But this is just to remind you that it is still your responsibility that payroll provider is meeting these requirements. And if for any reason the requirements aren't being met, then it would be you as the employer that would come under challenge if X, Y, or Z wasn't being done. So it's just that reminder that if you do outsource these responsibilities, you need to ensure that payroll provider is meeting those requirements and responsibilities. And if for any reason they're not, then us as the administrators would come back to you essentially as the employer. So it's just understanding that kind of triangle relationship when you do outsource. Okay, so to support you with these responsibilities, because they are vast, it is complicated. There is a lot of responsibility when it comes to, the pensions requirement. Of course, we have a team, the employee relations team, to support you through all of those things that I've just been through. So one of the ways in which we do support you is through employer training. So for your next season of employer training, we have actually invested in some outsourced employer training. So this is going to be delivered by Hymans. So Hymans are a financial services company who specialise in LGPS employer training. So these are going to be slightly longer training sessions than what we tend to deliver. So they're going to be 19-minute sessions. And they are going to cover the 4 different areas that you can see on the slide. So understanding the LGPS and conveying the benefits to members. Then there's a session on pensions terminology and historic issues. A session on employer responsibilities. That might be a really good one if you do outsource your payroll provider, to encourage them to go on that session. And then there's a session on understanding McLeod. Okay, so if you would like to attend, you or your payroll provider would like to attend any of these sessions, if you email our pensions mailbox with your name, email address, organisation, and the fund that you are in, and we'll try our best to make sure you get a place on those sessions. We are limited to numbers, but there is still a couple of places left on each of those sessions. So if that's something that you do think will be beneficial, useful for you, then please get in touch and we can get you a place on those sessions. Okay, so if this is the first time you are hearing about the training, or it may be that you are not signed up to Pensions Matters. So Pension Matters is our primary way of communicating with you as an employer. So we use this to get quick messages out to you on regulatory updates, invites to training and other events. We'll also put on there best practice guidance, and then also any system downtime, any planned system downtime or last minute system downtime. We'll pop a message on there, and you'll get an update from the blog essentially. So if you're not signed up to receive updates from Pension Matters, if you click the link on the slide, you pop your email address in and subscribe to that. So coming up to the end of my update now, but just to touch on some member engagement stuff that we've been working on. So we've recently had Pensions Awareness Week. So this is a national initiative. So you probably will have noticed many organisations kind of upping the communications around pensions during this week. So West Yorkshire Pension Fund delivered a series of online member presentations. So we did a different presentation each day, covering different topics of the scheme essentially. So we were joined by over 600 members throughout the week, which is really, really good. And they reported a satisfaction score of just under 90%. We had really good feedback from members at the sessions on the day, and then here you can see some of the comments that we've picked out from the feedback questionnaire that we sent out to members. So overall, a really positive week. And we are committed definitely to continuing to help members understand their pension, not just for Pensions Awareness Week. So in the new year, we'll continue with member communication, member presentations online, and this will be part of the Engage with Your LGPS Pensions project, which of course we've also run this year, but we'll restart that up again next year with a schedule of online presentations for members. We'll probably look to change the topics that we're covering just to give a bit of variety, and also we'll look at doing some presentations all at different times throughout the day, some twilight sessions as well for our academic staff who often can't get to sessions that we run during the day. So look out for more information on this, is that will be more towards the new year on that. And then finally is just to give you a quick update on the current position with McLeod. So I'm sure that you'll have seen that the regulations have been laid. They will take effect from the 1st of October. So we are currently working on how we will administer these changes. Our internal working practices will have to be amended. And then, of course, there's going to need to be a rectification exercise. So we are working on that internally at the moment, and we will keep you updated as this project progresses. In terms of member communications around McLeod, we will add more and more information to our website, just in case you do get any queries and questions from members. We'll be developing that area of the website just to give a bit more information to members on the McLeod project. Okay, so that brings me to the end of my update. So hopefully that's been useful.